Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, crew. Welcome to another live stream by Virtual Flight Diaries. We are here on the ground at Gillespie Field, Southern California, and we're going to take our VIP down to Cabo San Lucas. The LiveToAir CJ3 Plus, and we're on Sim Update 2. I do not have the beta because this plane didn't. I was getting too many crashes. Getting some crashes with Sim Update 2 on the release version, but so fingers crossed. Anyway, do something. I want to do something a little more different than I normally do. So normally I come in and we throw the plane together, we take off, we fly. A lot of mistakes are made in the procedures of the plane, you know. So I want to try to get more of a how I would fly this plane if I was flying it for real.
Alaska 912, clear to land.
So turn that down for a minute. So yeah, so that's what I want to do. So we're going to do checklists. We're going to do procedures. This plane's a little bit of a handful because it likes to accelerate pretty quickly. So we're going to be mindful of that. We're on Vatsim. Looks like LA Center is up, and I think that's it. So yeah, I'm going to be with ATC real quick because, you know, we're only 17 miles from the border, so we'll get handed off to Zatlin, but Zatlin is offline. So all right, so let's get our VIP is on board. Baggage is stowed, so let's get going. Lock that up. Get in the seat, and let's get going. So we're on ground power, and still need to do our flows. So start up on ground power, dispatch on, ground power connected. That's where we're at. All right, so just double check what frequencies we need. At 126.525, so let's just put that in there.
For the approach, are you going to make it from there?
I think I can make it.
Oh, okay. You're cleared for the ILS runway 26 left approach. Contact Tower 119.9. Bye-bye.
119.9, Delta 042.
All right, so that's in. It's a little loud in my ear.
Scandinavian 342 heavy.
All right,
Via the
so
ILS 2 arrival, expect coming 24 right.
So first thing I do is keep the split screen in, and put the checklist up over here. So when we get up into cruise, we're going to discuss some of the additions they made to improve this plane. We're actually on version 1.15 now. So we'll talk about that in cruise. And one thing I do want to think that'll pertain to the ground is they've added the FADEC detents. Now you can't program them, you know, for the throttle control, but they do exist now, and then they show up much like the working title CJ4. Get an idea of what detent you're in based on the indicator here. All right, so let's get our initialization started. So weight and balance.
360 good.
Go over to SimBrief.
Climb at 350 instead of 37. Sure. I'll maintain flight 350.
Load our SimBrief flight plan in. That way we can load our weights in. Our VIP has 3 guests with her, and they're all going for a weekend trip down to Cabo. So, all right. So our weights are all in. So now we can continue on. So crew and stores. That's just me. We'll go to payload page. We got 4 passengers. Double check. Yep. 175, and our cargo weight will be 174 pounds. I guess they didn't take a lot of luggage. All right, so that's all in. Next is the takeoff page. We'll just sync that to our fuel. Got 570 gallons of Jet A on board, and that should come to a total of 3,860 pounds of fuel. And then our landing marks are all in. Not quite sure exactly how much reserve fuel we should have. I haven't figured that one out yet. But I think this is a good number. This 50 gallons should give us about 30 minutes of reserve. All right, so we'll use SimBrief. Go over here and request our flight plan. Just import that in here. That checks direct Tijuana, and we're going to take the J1 airway to Laredo, and then our arrival into where we filed the ENEKO 1 Charlie, runway 29 into Cabo. So that all checks.
10 miles
Procedures in. We're going to do the RNAV, LNAV-V,
American 2876 LA, so good morning. We're at contact.
SAC. We're going to load that in. And then we'll double check our VNAV. We got our climb out. We're going to do a cruise climb.
LA Center Skywest 5060. Can we step away for about 10?
That looks good.
Okay.
That looks good. We'll do a VNAV out departure, which will then FMS hold our speeds. It'll be 200 in terminal, and then it'll pop us up to our cruise speed in the climb out. There's no auto throttle, so we still have to manage our throttles. Cruise looks good. Probably do about 7 Mach. And then the descent is in there good, so that checks. All right, so flight plan is in. So next we go down to takeoff data. We're taking off runway 27 right.
LA Center, this is ExitJet 1. We are over here on the ground at Santa Barbara. Is there any way possible to get an ATIS for us?
Okay, stand by.
All right, so we're runway 27. And we'll get the weather, we'll load the MEDAR, we'll use the RAT. Runway 27 is in, configuration. Do flaps 15 takeoff.
Great, thank you so much. Got it right now.
2863.
And these are takeoff speeds. So I found that when you program this right, these pretty much match the SimBrief takeoff count. The match the calculations done by SimBrief. So
Speedway 275, let me expect vectors for correction, expect Alice Zulu, runway 26 left approach. Expect Zulu.
And then that's our initialization done, so we'll accept that. I accepted those speeds. Okay. So then we'll get the speed bug tapes. So I don't know if this is a bug, but you have to click this here and enter the first one, and then you can just go down the line and it'll populate. I don't know if that's how the real plane works or if it's just a bug. All right, so that's all done. So we'll go for our flows here. So we'll go arm emergency light, standby display test, then on. Amber light should go because the battery is not on. Battery to emergency, then on. We're going to get our nav lights on and turn our beacon on.
This is XJet 1. We're looking to pick up our IFR clearance over to Burbank today.
That all looks good.
XJet 1, roger, standby.
All right, come over here. Air source off. Pressurization normal. Boost pumps normal. Fuel transfer off. Air conditioning off. All right, flow's done. So let's do the checklist. So we got circuit breakers are all in. Fuel transfer pumps off. Left and right fuel pump normal. Anti-ice is not needed. Windshield bleed air valves off. Parking brake is set. Throttles are off. Display test then on. Battery emergency then on. Emergency lights are armed. Landing gear is down. No, it is not down. See, that's why we do checklists. So down, 3 green. Thank God for safety latches, right? Our GPU is connected and the cockpit lights are all on. Weights and balances in. And our initialization page is complete.
Yep, we're here for XJet 1.
Cockpit items checklist complete. Go to normal procedures.
11,000, 5 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.52, squawk 4740.
Go to normal procedures, starting
Clear to
engines.
Filed. We'll maintain 5,000 on departure. We'll expect 11,000, 11,000, 5 minutes after departure. Departure frequency
Parking brake is set.
4740 for
Fuel chocks have been removed.
Readback correct.
Cabin door is closed and locked. And indicating.
And the altimeter is 2999. I'm sure got it from you.
Engine instruments are all green.
We'll expect runway 7 left for departure.
CAS is checked and confirmed. Battery voltage is above 24 right there. And the air conditioner is off. All right, so this isn't really a checklist, but more of a memory item. So now at this juncture, let's see if we can pick up our clearance. We know how.
United 2863 LA Center.
2863.
All right, I'll just didn't get a response previously. You are your radar service for the terminated Fing Shape 2. Good day.
Over to the dark side, 2863. See ya.
All right.
Center, Skywest 5060, we're back.
That's 260, Roger. Descend pilot position to maintain 17,000.
Descend to maintain 17,000 at pilot discretion, Skywest 5060.
Los Angeles Center, citation 287 November on the ground at Gillespie. We'd like to pick up our IFR to San Lucas.
What's the call sign again?
For citation 287 November.
Number 287 November, you're cleared to destination as filed. Maintain 5,000. Expect flight level 4105 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.52. Squawk 7644.
Cleared to San Lucas is filed. Climb maintain 5,000. Expect to 4105 minutes after. Departure's on 12652, and we'll squawk 7644, citation 287 November.
Let's do it. 7 number, need back correct. Call for taxi, runway 27, right for departure.
Expect 27 right for departure, 87 November.
And your altimeter is 3001.
3001 on the altimeter, 87 November. All right.
SkyWest 5060, the St. George altimeter.
We got our clearance.
You have an approach request?
And we'll set that up.
Our nav for 19.
Okay.
All right, 3001, once, twice, three times.
Good morning, Delta 1659.
And that checks for field elevation.
Airspace over Milford to fly level 330.
And we're ready to get going.
Down low again. I'll call you when I see you.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, so turn on engine 2. Here's 10. Introducing fuel monitoring. Looking for hot start. All right, temp data at 612, rolling back. All right, that's a good start on 2. Turn on 1. Got ignition. Got rotation. There's 10, introducing fuel, monitoring. Oh, that was a cold one. 289 to roll back. That's 2 good starts. Absolutely freezing in here. All right, so we have our before taxi checklist. So let's do our flow. Starts, generators can come on. Come across here. Got passenger safety, pitot heats, and taxi light, not landing light. And we'll come down here. Windshield to low. Turn on both.
1698, expect ILS from the 24 right approach.
Let's see. Alright, so to 16. Yeah, we'll get the air conditioner on.
And Scandinavian 342 heavy, expect the ILS from the 24 right approach.
Expect 24 right, Scandinavian 342.
Alright, so
275 heavy, cleared ILS Zulu, runway 26 left approach.
checklist. Exterior lights are as required. Passenger safety on. Air source as to both. Air conditioning is on. On an elevator trim is checked. And set.
LA Center, this is Delta 505 heavy at 1000 for 5.
Flight controls are.
Sky 5060, descend maintain 11,000, altimeter 2980.
LA Center, this is Delta 505
Free
heavy
and correct.
2,000 for 5,000.
Yes, I know. I'm speaking to another aircraft. Sky is 5060.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what we want to do is we're going to take it down to ground flaps. We want to make sure that our spoilers or speed brakes extend, and then we'll bring it up to takeoff.
2,800 time is about 410, flighting 236.
And then we notice the takeoff is indicating. And our takeoff V speeds are confirmed.
Southwest 2061, Lima Airspace radar services are terminated. Have a good morning.
Frequency change approved.
Alright, so we'll put 5,000 in the altimeter.
United 1071, contact Denver on 127.65. Good day.
Flight level 410, and say heading number again.
Flight director's on.
236.
236. Delta
And we'll do a VNAV departure. Put that on.
United 1071.
The flight controls in, and then we'll go heading.
Go ahead.
Okay, Denver Center now 127.65. Good morning.
All right.
12765, United 1071, good day.
Delta 505, turn left heading 080.
Left to 00, Delta 505.
Oh, that's another thing they did. You can't move if you're still connected. Disconnect the GPS or the GPU. Steering, brake check. That's all good. All right. So we are ready to go. Let's get our taxi clearance. Should be Delta 8. Los Angeles Center, citation 287 November at the northwest ramp, ready for taxi. Okay, do we... Did we crash?
Echo calling, what was your call sign?
Citation 287 November. We're on the northwest ramp, ready for taxi.
Tuesday number, taxi number 27 right.
Taxi runway 27 right. 87 November. Alright, I guess we're just at our discretion. I guess you didn't want to figure it out. Alright, heading on out. Going down to Cabo. It's not very sunny California today. So, initially I had I had some opinions about this plane, but I've flown it a lot lately. I'm put about 10 hours in it. And it's not bad. I mean, it's not study level, but it's really fun plane to fly. You know, and it's got some systems.
Speedbird 275, contact tower.
Tower 1990.
Flight 1698, descend and maintain 2,200.
But she is,
1698.
I mean, not as much as a handful as, like, say, the Lear 35, but she does like to go fast, and you can blow through your altitudes, you can blow through your speeds. You can, you know, you can bust all that stuff real quick. So this scenery I got back in 2020. So I honestly don't know where I got it from. Obviously, it was on the marketplace because I was able to download it.
Clear your back to Vegas, Delta 505 heavy.
Flight 1698, flying 220, join runway 24 right, localizer.
Flighting 220, join the 24 right, localizer, WestJet 1698.
LA Center, this is XJet 1. We are ready to taxi runway 7 at Atlantic Aviation.
Where are you?
Santa Barbara for XJet 1.
XJet 1, taxi runway 7, cross runway 7 along the way, and then join Alpha.
Taxi runway 7, we'll cross runway 7 along the way and join Alpha for XJet.
One coffee down. Probably going to have to take a little lab break. Drinking coffee all morning. Yeah, so I keep the Virtual Flight Diaries headquarters here pretty cold. So that's some cold air runs into the computer. So I got it now absolutely freezing. So that's why it's summer. It's the, you know, springtime, and I'm wearing a hoodie. It's like 60 some, you know, 50 some degrees in here.
Flight 1698, 4 miles from Merce, maintain 4,000 till established on the localizer, cleared ILS. Correction, 2,200 till established on the localizer, cleared ILS, runway 24 right approach.
Maintain 2,200 till established, cleared ILS, 24 right approach, WestJet 1698.
Scandinavian 342, for your information, I'm going to do the...
So, although I don't have scenery for Cabo, I did do a little test flight around there, and it's a really interesting approach. So the RNAVs are all offset, so you have to hand fly the short final, which is pretty cool.
Going miss on the miss approach 6 o'clock.
One success. Scandinavian 342, sir, you can't just start flying that approach. You need to let me know. I got traffic on the final, flighting 070.
My bad, fly heading 070, can you even pick up here?
Yeah, I already gave you that. It's going to be an ILS approach. Turn left 070, there's traffic you're going to be going straight into. Fly 070 and descend and maintain 2,200.
Descend and maintain...
Oops.
I need help setting my heading mode to nav mode. Help.
Whoa, you.
Whoever's calling for help, you need to log off.
This is Delta 505 Heavy. I need your help getting me to set my... I'm at an A359. Tell me how to set my heading mode to nav mode.
Yeah, log off, fix that, then come back, please.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Delta 1659 reaching top of descent.
Delta 1659, radar contact out of flight 320 to 7 the Chow.
Alright, so anti-collision could come on, landing lights. Alright, air source is to both. Flaps are takeoff, trim is takeoff. Pitot heat's on. Anti-collision lights on, landing lights are on.
I need help. I need your help helping me set my HDG mode to nav mode.
My God.
Yeah, I can't help you right now. You really need to learn this offline, mate. I can't be doing that now. What's your 1698 contact now? 120.95.
Oh, wow.
Idea 2095, good luck, question at 1698.
Yeah, fun. Scandinavian 342, maintain 2000. Fly heading 220.
That's funny.
Fly heading, no, fly altitude 2000, Scandinavian 342. That got me off guard.
And Scandinavian 242, 342, right turn heading 220.
All right. So,
Right heading 220.
just to double check while we're waiting here, got altitude set.
275 heavy, left turn
Or
heading
in VNAV, so it's FMS mode.
070 Super 275 Heavy.
275 heavy, climb maintain 8000.
And you can pre-program the autopilot on this so that when you go
Go again for 56.
engaged, it'll just engage right into the modes that you want.
Copy vectors for iPod. Scouts 56 here.
Yeah, sorry about that. We got guys on the frequency might be stepping over you. Canyon 342 heavy, you cleared ILS runway 24 right approach.
Cleared ILS 24 right approach, Scandinavian 342.
Delta 505. Okay, what aircraft are you flying?
Whoa.
I am flying an Airbus A359 by any build, and I need to have it set from heading mode to nav mode.
All right, pull the heading. I think it's the heading bug. I think did you pull that or did you not? 2-3 things. Check the flight directors on. Pull that the little dial there, and make sure that the next waypoint is Las Vegas. You need to do all three things before it actually connects direct Las Vegas.
Actually, if you just go direct to Las Vegas, it should automatically go to nav mode. Anyway.
5,700.
American 633, radar contact 5,900, climb to level 300.
Alright, 300, American 633.
Los Angeles Center, this is XJet 1. We are holding short of...
I'm setting it to Vegas now.
Come on, dude.
XJet 1, wind is... Anyway. Exit 1, wind calm, runway 7, clear for takeoff, follow the Quang departure.
Runway 7 clear for takeoff, follow the Quang departure for XJet 1.
Speedway 275 heavy, vectors ILS, runway 26 left approach.
Vectors ILS 26 left, Super 275 Heavy.
Yeah, 660, can you do me a favor? It's very difficult for me to see where iPod is. Let me know when you have beam iPod.
Wilco should be here pretty soon, 5060.
LA Center, hello, American 677 with you, flight level 300.
Alright, 677 low.
Los Angeles Center, citation 287 November at 27 right, ready for departure.
287 November, fly runway heading runway 27 right, clear for takeoff.
27 right, clear for takeoff, fly runway heading 87 November. All right, let's get out of here.
Captain 942, you are Lima airspace, radar service for the terminated. You have a good flight, bye-bye.
Over to Intercom, JetBlue 942, zip.
Yeah. American 2876 to 7, the Pitbull 1 arrival, landing runway 7.
27 right, confirm.
Okay, Pitbull 1 arrival for runway 7, American 2876.
Canyon 342, heavy contact now, 120.95, good day.
Spool them up.
Scandinavian 342, heavy contact, Los Angeles Tower, 120.95.
120.95, Scandinavian 342, see ya.
Right, thrust set, airspeed alive, 60 knots, cross check.
330 for 370.
Here's rotate.
Center, Cabos 5060, we're a beam iPod.
Gear up, flaps up, yaw dampener. Climb power in.
Alright, make a right turn, direct iPod, clear for the RNAV runway 19 approach.
Copy, direct, right turn iPod, and clear for the approach, Cabos 5060.
Express 001, you radar contact, flight level 335, maintain flight 370.
370, Canadian Express 001.
Alright, all aircraft promise to stand by, I got a phone call to take. 2 minutes up.
Oh boy. Alright, so climbing out.
Los Angeles Center, Alaska 097. Good evening. We are reaching flight level 310.
He stepped out for about 2. He'll be back.
Geez, 2 minutes would be in Tijuana. Alright, so we're going to bring it back to cruise because we don't want to overshoot our speeds. Minutes is going to put us out over the ocean.
Alright, sounds back.
LA Center, American 2406, climbing with the radar to departure.
Mike 246, radar contact 8,500, time to flight 20.
LA Center, citation 287 November 5000.
097, installation, flight level 310.
Alaska 97, LA Center, good morning, radar contact, flight level 310, maintain for now. Cabos 5060, advise whether your field in sight will be the uncontrolled airport, so it's going to be either terminating now, when you're terminating or on the ground.
Yeah, we can terminate now for Cabos 5060.
Alright, radar service is terminated, Scorpio 4, and see you next time.
Copy, we'll see you soon. We're going to do a quick turn.
Sure, I'm here.
LA 7, this is XJet 1. We are currently at 5,000 feet, direct Quang airborne.
XJet 1, thank you, radar contact 5,000, climbing to 11,000, resume on navigation.
Climb to 11,000, resume on navigation, XJet 1.
LA Center, citation 287 November, on the runway heading 5000.
287 number, radar contact 5,000, climb to 40, turn left, direct Tijuana, on navigation from here.
Cloud 40, direct Tijuana, on navigation. 87 November. Alright.
LA Center, good morning, Southwest 2513 with you, flight level 340.
2513, LA Center, good morning, radar contact, flight level 340.
Climb up, we'll get climb power back in.
Hello, Canada 1093 with you, 340.
And we'll go direct Tijuana.
Taking 1093, LA Center, good morning.
Give permission to step away from the flight deck for about 5 minutes.
Who's that?
This is XJet 1.
Yeah, hurry back, you're only on a short flight, huh?
Okay, I hope it's super quick, XJet 1.
Santa Barbara to Burbank, or what is it, Santa Barbara to Burbank? Yeah, that is a very short flight.
1416 LA Center, good morning, radar contact 2,300, climb to flight 390.
1416, roger, climb 390.
Did not hit nav.
On Delta 1659, expect ILS Zulu, runway 26 left approach. Information is Kilo.
So that's all the setup that
Kilo. sorry, Delta 1659.
So what we'll do is we'll continue our checklist.
And
So after takeoff checklist, we got landing gear up, flaps are up, anti-ice is not required. Passenger advisory signs, yeah, we're smooth air, they can go off. Pressurization.
Yes, I think you missed that. Time to about 280.
Alright, passing 10,000. Landing lights off.
Delta 505, you sorted down?
So pressurization's good.
I think I got the problem solved. Everything's fine.
About 10%.
Yeah,
so
just make sure you know how to fly the plane. That's a pretty sophisticated plane to fly. If you don't know how to fly that, it can disturb the traffic flows.
That's why I always talk, and you guys have seen me on the stream. We'll fly on Say Intentions or Beyond ATC. If I don't know the plane, I don't come on Vatsim. I don't want to have him go direct and me not know how to do that, or how to put myself in a hold or anything like that.
No, I'm just going to bring you around behind another Delta there on the left. Delta 275 heavy, cleared back to Preno, across Preno at 8,000, cleared ILS runway 26 left approach.
Direct Preno down to 3,800, cleared ILS 26 left, Stewart 275 heavy.
Alright, so
8,000.
yeah, we got
Preno, cleared ILS 26
got
left.
that in there. So comp 2, we're going to put guard because we're on Vatsim.
275 heavy.
Delta 1659, cross Preno at 8,000, cleared ILS Zulu runway 26 left approach.
Crossing plane at 8,000, clear left, 26 left Zulu, Delta 1659.
American 2876, you get the
with you on the climb to 2100.
What did I file? Did I file?
American 2876, you did get the previous descent instructions of the Pitbull 1, correct?
That's correct, sir. We're just about 20 miles from the POD.
Okay, and expect ILS from a 7 approach. I've got an ATIS up, it's information echo, ultimate at G999.
Roger, information echo on board, and we'll expect ILS 07 for American 2876.
iPad doesn't want to work right.
Southwest 2677, your radar contacts air altitude.
Southwest 2677, pass through flight level 7000.
Alright, your radar contact 7000, climbing till about 340.
Alright, up to 340, Southwest 27.
LA Center, this is X-Jet 1, we're back to flight deck.
Thank you.
Los Angeles Center, Southwest 327.
Very slow.
You through 4200.
Say again, who was that?
Southwest 327.
327, radar contacts the altitude again?
4800 on the climb.
The 327 radar contact 5000, climbing to about 290.
I think I filed 4100 or flight level 410.
327 left turn direct to Clipper, resume door
Get clearance to flow 410.
Direct Clipper, climb 290 for Southwest 327.
I just want to double check. I think I had an old flight plan in.
Exit 1, expect ILS from 8 approach to center maintain 6000.
Looks like the ILS runway 8 approach to center maintain 6000, X-Jet 1.
Yeah, 410. You did say 40, but...
3000, wind 1107.
Burbank altimeter 300, got it, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Alright. Alright, so we passed to flight level 180, so we're going to set standard.
Fighting 110, continue to descend down to 4000.
Number 2 at 7 November, Mazatlan's offline, no further ADC able to change advisory today.
Switching over to advisory. Thanks for the ATC. 287 November.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, we'll set standard there. So, standard set 1, 2, 3. Passing flight level 203 now. Now, cross check. And we'll go. Climb powers in. We're climbing up really nice. So this is a nice option when you climb out in VNAV. You can preset all your, especially in terminal services, you know, like, you know, class Bravos and stuff like that. You could not have to worry about scrambling with setting your speeds. You can preset them all. Plus it makes it very, it increases the controllability of the plane. As you can see, we managed that plane just fine. And here's another thing too. Like, you don't have to keep it in the detent. So it's all about, switch to ENEKO. So it's all about maintaining that airspeed. So, I mean, you have control of it. So it's a FADEC system, but you have control of the throttles. So, you know, if you keep it in climb power, you know, max climb power, and you're leveling out, or you're going into a shallow climb, etc., you're going to blow your speeds. So just power back. Like, I went up into cruise speed, you know, I dropped it down to cruise speed just to maintain that terminal speed of 222. So there's no, it's not an Airbus. You don't have to keep it in the detent. You can use the power as you need it. And sometimes the detent power is too high. It makes it, if you just remember that, you know, use the power as needed, it becomes much more manageable. And it took a couple flies to kind of get that I didn't have to leave it in these detents. It flies just fine. You can even climb a little bit in cruise. It's all managing your airspeed and energy. I mean, I wouldn't put it in cruise power to climb all the way up to 410, but one, it would be hard to maintain anything other than like 100 or 200 feet per minute, but and you know, and then to go back to, you know, manual control of the flight level change speeds, you just click VNAV off, and then you can adjust your VNAV speed. I mean, your flight level change speed hold. But one thing I do notice, I don't think, is that this shouldn't have, so it is FADEC, so I shouldn't have, if it's in the detent, it's in the detent. I don't think I should have leeway here, but that might be a limitation of the sim. Or just the programming of the plane itself. But it's nice that we got that they did that, because it was very difficult to know what detent you were in, which then made, you know, management of the systems, or management of the plane, kind of difficult. All right, so yeah, we're done with ATC for now. But that was fun. And that is why I like Vatsim. All that interaction, the weird stuff that goes on. That kid was really in a panic that he couldn't get his nav to work. You should be able to, you know, you need to learn your planes. That's all. That's why I keep saying you need to learn your planes before you get online. And that's what makes Say Intentions and those other ATC programs a great resource for learning Vatsim. You could test your plane out with ATC and not have to worry. So, you know, you're on say intentions. You can't get your nav to work. Who cares? You can work it out, right? You're at LA Center with all that traffic and all that, you know, stuff going on. You can't do it. And actually, he was very patient. There's a lot of controllers that would have just DC'd the guy. So what's cool too about VNAV mode, so when you're in regular speed mode, it'll hold, you know, 222 all the way up. So then you'll start creeping towards B&E. And I found out that, you know, before I figured out how to do all this, I was overspeeding up where, you know, up around, you know, the higher flight levels. This one, since it's pre-programmed, you're using the programmed VNAV, it automatically switches to the programmed Mach hold, and it'll keep it at 5.6 on the way up. So that's why you see the speed coming down. So we're in our climb window. Alright, so this is a pretty long flight, actually. I mean, business jet to Cabo, just had to do it. So probably got about an hour and 50 in the air. So I got something. We'll talk about some things. But as we climb up here, so actually I wanted to let's see here. Guys want for this plane, I found that the sim brief profile was a little off. So I created one for this. An updated profile. There's two places you can get it. So you get it on my Discord. Or you can pick it up on FlightSimTO. I did upload it there. And I got it off of a CJ3 watch. Probably Nightbot's not in the chat. Oh, thanks, Nightbot. Alright, so I'm just going to pin my Discord link. You guys want to head over there, just sign up for the server, and it's in MSFS add-ons section under sim brief profiles. So what it was, the problem was that I wonder if I could see it here. Yeah, no, it's not here. So the empty weights were all wrong. So the sim brief profile had the empty weight at 8,700 pounds, and I went to this aviation page on the CJ3 Plus, and actually the empty weight is like 81, 84, which then I was getting errors in my sim brief, you know, flight plans, you know, with weights. I'm like, why is this not working? So it's because the empty weight was off. So the new profile adjusts all the empty weights. Also the ramp weight, that was off a little bit too, so I fixed that. So like I said, get it from Discord or FlightSimTO. you guys want to use it if you're interested. But they did a lot of work. I don't know if... I didn't see if they did any flight model work with the update, but it does seem to fly a lot better. I am getting 100 frames per second with this. And with frame gen, it's probably, what is it, 200, because it doesn't register the extra frame. But, oh man, did I screwed up. I'm going to have to revisit my settings too. So, I was playing around with the sim and I decided to, I was reading that you can get more frames and smoother, less stutters and stuff like that if you go into the AMD FSR. So I added that and it completely trashed my sim. I couldn't even get in. So then what I had to do was I had to go into the NVIDIA app and then force it to go to optimize mode or whatever. And it completely destroyed all my tweaks. So I just dumped it down to like a base tweak I had. Oh, not paying attention. See? Creeping up on thing. So we'll get into cruise. So like 84. Is this a good number? All right, let's try 83. Yeah, that gives us a good number. So we're cruising about 415 across the ground. That looks good. Let's do some aviation here. So we got throttle set to cruise detent, and we don't need the anti-ice. So that's the checklist. Set checklist to go. All right. Some aviation. So okay, we're good. Cabin's about. That's all right. That is all good. That looks good. I did have my traffic off. Alright, we're going to need that because we don't have ATC, so it'd be some situational awareness. So, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So I had to set my tweaks to like just some minimum number to so I could stream today. Couldn't find my notebook with all my settings because I do write that down. So it also could be, the reason I'm getting these frame rates. It could be because I have it all down pretty low. The TLD is still 200 and LOD is 100 though. If you saw though, I did have another stream for today. I wanted to do right after this one, but it ended up being a little too ambitious of me, so we're going to be doing the PC-12 stream tomorrow at roughly the same time. We're going to take the SimWorks Studios PC-12 down to Caribbean, and we'll hop around down there. That should be a fun stream. So one of the cool features of this is it has, so it's a G3000. It's not just a feature of the CRJ, but the G3000 has you can preload the baro. So like, you know, you're at flight level 250 and ATC goes, you know, descend and maintain 13, you know, 13,000. Altimeter, you know, 3002. You don't want to, like I said before, you don't want to put 3002 and you want to keep it in standard because, you know, say you're coming down and at flight level 200 he goes, you know, hold for traffic, hold at that altitude for traffic. You're not going to be at exactly 200. So you can preset your baro so you forget about it. So then all you got to do is hit the standard button and boom, right in there. We can actually go a little faster, so we'll bump that up. Go 85 on the N1. .1, that's good. Let's see where that puts us. So, I mean, everyone that's flown the G3000, the TBM 930 has it in there. That's a thing, and also the G5000 in the Legacy, Citation Legacy, or Longitude, I mean, has that as well. No, it is the default. This isn't custom. It takes a lot of work. Yeah. It takes a lot of work to program this stuff. So, you know, if you got a good flight model and you drop in a default, you know, gauge set, I'm not too hardcore about that. It's a lot of work to make the custom one. I get it. You know, you want to get your product out. So I filed this flight plan down along the coast because it's very, you know, we got a very important movie star on board, and flying over these mountains it can get kind of bouncy. So let's see, we've got some smooth air out over the coast. That's why I filed it with story in mind. I like to come up with little pretend scenarios because, you know, it makes it fun. You know, we can't fly these things in real life. We can't have these jobs. And why not just pretend a little bit? But I know the first stream we had, this did have our you know what that killed the stream. I don't think it was the plane. To be honest, more figuring it out, I think it was OBS causing problems because I had to fix some things with OBS. So if you haven't already, guys, you know, like this kind of content, you know, hit that like button. Helps out the channel a lot, actually. What it does is it tells YouTube that, hey, this is a cool video, and it'll send it out to more people. And it'll help out the channel because, you know, I think I have good content. You guys think I have good content. And it'll bring some more people into our community. So if you haven't already, hit that like button. Alright, we are good. We are cruising. Everything is good. We did everything by procedures. A little bump. We didn't actually overspeed, by the way. Yeah, it went red, but the warning occurs somewhere up here. There is a little leeway. Oh, you know, that just in the barber pole, you're not going to rip the wings off. So I'm going to count that as okay. Yeah, so we're sporting a little bit of a headwind here, so we're not quite 400. I could bump it up, but, you know, like I said, you never know down here. Hot desert, get even at 410, especially in the simulator, we'll you could get knocked around, and if you're close to the barber pole, you can then overspeed due to turbulence. Oh, this is a comfortable one. 397. So we got an hour and 20 minutes. Oh, we get to hang out for an hour and 20 minutes. How's that sound, crew? Sounds good to me, that's for sure. So I'm still working on our long haul. So I have some routes in mind. And I'm going to be posting some polls on the channel. You guys to pick. You guys brought me here to 500 subscribers, and so you guys are going to pick the route and the plane. Right now we have two planes we could choose from. You know, the A350 and the 777-200. But someone talking. Oh. All right. So I'm thinking we could do the usual, you know, New York to London or Boston to London. We got pardon me. We got Spain and France. They're a little bit longer. We got a little bit of a shorter one. We could do Hawaii to San Francisco. That's the one I like. Different. Everyone does the cross the Atlantic, but pretty cool to do a Hawaii. We could do Hawaii to San Francisco. We could do San Francisco to Hawaii. We got to figure out route. We got to figure out what plane we're going to be flying, and then I have to figure out what date. It's going to work with my schedule. I know it's going to be a Saturday. Just don't know what Saturday. Alright, so all the fixes that they made, let's check them out, have alright, so I have their Discord up. So version 1.01 was the major update. And so they put physical and FADEC detents added. So the physical detents are the ones in the throttle. So when and you can hear them click in. I was thinking I put in takeoff mode, you hear the clunk. So they put physical detents on here. And you can see there's a little play in them. Put my power back, right? But I don't know if that's actual to the CJ3. If there is a little play in the detent that you can adjust, you know, cruise power in the cruise, and I don't know. And then they added the FADEC detents up here, so it cues you to what detent you're actually in, so you don't have to look down. Look here. Okay, I know I'm in climb. I know I'm in cruise. I know takeoff's lit up. Pressurization problem fixed. I don't know if there was. I never encountered any kind of problem with pressurization, other than that you had to be in both for it to climb up. So maybe it was if you ran pressurization off left or right, it didn't work right. I don't know. But yeah, I knew you had to be in both, and it would pressurize okay. New and improved lighting. So there was a problem with the lights being dim. I'm not entirely sure. We'd have to see at night. I don't know. There's no flash there. But daytime, that might just be a bug. So they fixed the lights, and we all saw, because I forgot to disconnect the GPU, they added that option that you can't leave the parking spot unless you've disconnected the GPU. So no more ground power unit cart hanging off the back of the plane if you forgot. They added toga buttons, so these work. I didn't press toga, and what that does is a command. It's not really a toga like you think, like in the 777, because there's no auto throttle. It commands the flight directors to pitch for proper climb out or go around. Also, I don't have them bound. I actually have my yaw dampener bound to this button on my controller. So I have to, now that they've added the toga button, I'm going to have to find a different spot for my yaw dampener, because a lot happens quick on departure, as you saw. You know, there's the procedure, you know, positive rate, gear up, flaps up, yaw dampener. So it was just easier to have yaw dampener bound, so I could just flaps up, hit the yaw dampener. You want to get all those in pretty quickly. So one, for you don't overspeed the flaps, because you're accelerating really quick, and that happens in the real plane. I watched some videos on the CJ3 on YouTube, and that's the concert that the pilots do. Gear up, flaps up. Yaw dampener on, 1,000 feet, autopilot on. No. Pilot not sitting in the cockpit. So if you guys have this plane and you noticed that before, when you come to exterior view, you'd have a little head poking out. That's all been fixed, obviously, you can see. Engine blade flicker fixed. See, I always thought that was a frame gen issue. Oh, it's somewhat fixed. I still get a little flicker, so that still might be, for me, that still might be frame gen. But it is a lot better. I dig that. Standby display, wrong overspeed fixed. Okay, so I guess it would show overspeed faster. Before here. I guess they fixed that so it's more synced up. I didn't encounter that, and honestly, if this isn't failed, I'm not really looking at the standby gauge, so I could have missed that. So fixed windshield bleed air flap. Yes, this thing was huge. I think it was up here. It was almost a little bit into the vision of the pilot. This, they fixed this. That's definitely fixed. Center wheel no longer floating. Center. I don't know what that is. That was something I didn't notice. Yeah, that was something I didn't notice. I did heard a pretty loud beep. Sounded like my chat queue. You guys, that didn't show up. Alright. Yeah, so that's another thing too that happened here is my one monitor failed. So I used to run 2 monitors other than my main monitor. Now I got everything crammed into one monitor, which I'm not entirely happy about. Doesn't make it very intuitive. Alright. So, center wheel no longer floating. I honestly don't know what that was. The gear animation corrected to match the real aircraft. Since I don't know what the CJ3 air landing gear looked like retracting, I didn't notice that it was wrong. But apparently they fixed that. Speed brakes now retract when N1 is above 85. Now I remember I had the speed brakes out with it with that power range, so I didn't know that was broken. But yeah, it's a protection, so you don't break the speed brakes. Flaps and speed brakes work while battery is off fixed. So apparently you were able to drop the flaps and deploy the speed brakes with the battery off. They're electronically controlled. Sound volume tweaked? I didn't. Oh, you know what? It is a little quieter. It was pretty loud. And speed brakes now retract when the flaps go up. So when you put it into ground flaps on landing, it extends the speed brake. When you bring the ground flaps up, speed brake retracts. And that was not doing that. It actually left the speed brakes up, so you had to physically retract it. I think it's more in line with the real aircraft. When you bring it out of this ground, bring it out of the ground flaps, that the speed brakes also retract. So they fixed that. It's cool. Low fuel warning fixed? I never got a low fuel warning. I wasn't too sure with that one. Trim animation wheel. So I guess it was kind of, I don't know. It was a little choppy. I guess maybe that was it. I'm not too sure what was broken. Comm radio not working when at dispatch mode was fixed. So I guess when you put it in dispatch mode, you should be able to, when you're in dispatch mode, it's a low power setting. So if you don't have a ground cart, you can put it in dispatch and you can do some things and it won't kill your battery necessarily. So you're supposed to be able to contact ATC, get your clearances and all that stuff in dispatch mode. And apparently that wasn't working. I never used that. I always contacted them when I was on the ground cart. Alright, so 0.15. I can't find the changelog for 0.15. But if I remember correctly, it was, they fixed the the electronic flight bag. They fixed the brightness settings. I guess this was broken. I don't know. We tested that on the one stream to when we flew her over to Freeport. We tested that and it seemed to work, so I don't know what was wrong with that. They fixed the nav lights not coming on. And there was one more thing. There was one more thing. There was like 3 little tweaks. Let me see if I can find it. I want to make sure that you guys kind of get what they here we go. Got oh, and they removed registration CFSFO. I don't know why that had to be done. Yeah, I'm not sure why that had to be done. So it was like 3 things that they fixed with 1.5. And the plane works great in Sim Update 2. That's what we're in. Sim Update 3 beta. It was horrible. It didn't work right for me. I was one of the guys. I finally fell into the. I've been skating by. Finally fell into the cracks of thing. I can't use 3 yet. I will be going to the beta as soon as I figure out what I'm doing wrong with it. But this plane didn't seem to work. It would load in on the ramp and then it would crash. So yeah, let's see if we got a MEDAR San Lucas. Alright, 120 at 4. 10. So we have to change our approach. My Navigraph is not working right for me. Let's see, I have it in. I know why it's not. So 1204, we should be coming in on 11, not 29. It shut off the, I know what my problem is. I have Vatsim on. Not my Navigraph. There we go. It's still showing. We should be coming in on 29. So, well, 29, 4 knots. That would be what, 1 or 2 knot tailwind. Yeah. See what Navigraph's got for it. Yeah, so see, Navigraph has us at winds 310 at 9, which then would mean we should come in on 29. So I don't know what the heck that. But now it's not even working. All right, so I don't even know what that was. All right, we'll go with Navigraph. Come in on 29. So they did a lot of fixes. It flies great. It hand flies great. It's not pitchy or jumpy, and I've been having some fun with this. I didn't think I would, but I am. So what about, yeah, so see, I put 12 hours in it, almost 13 hours in this thing. I've been flying this puppy around. And I've gotten used to the thing, and this is working title, so it's customizable, which I like. The original 2020 G3000, that was before Working Title got their hands on it, was junk. So I think a lot of people knock them around because they were using the originals. And they got that bad taste in their mouth, and they stopped using the originals because of that, and they've never went back. So they still think maybe that it's as bad as it was back then. I'd like to give it a little bit of a benefit of a doubt. I mean, still a lot of things aren't modeled, but they do not claim that this is high fidelity. So, and at 26 euros, I'll say pick it up. If you're super hardcore, let's say PR1, good day, sir. Did you try the Flight Simulator Jet? I do have that. We've streamed it a couple times, actually. It's very hard to stream. There's a lot going on. It's great fun. It's great fun. But yeah, no, I have it. I have the base model cargo version and the medevac version. I've had that plane for a while. I got that in 2020 when it first launched. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that flight simulator Learjet. Now that is, so like I was saying, this isn't high fidelity. This is more of a basic, one step up from basic, you know, I don't want to say default because it just doesn't feel default, but you know, it's like a, and I don't want to say it's in the middle either because it's not completely system oriented, but that plane is high fidelity. Almost everything works. And it's definitely a workload. Yeah, me too. I mean, I'll talk about, you know, this one's just relaxing because you don't have to really think too hard. And you could, and like I was demonstrating in the beginning, you can run the checklist. You can operate it close to the feel of being the real pilot, you know, but with the Learjet, it definitely with the flight simulator Learjet, definitely get that I'm running this plane. I have to work this plane, and that's actually very satisfying. I personally like high fidelity planes. You know, I want to learn systems because I'm that kind of nerd. But this one is just to knock around and fly and maybe do some virtual ops, like our storyline is we're taking that Hollywood VAP down to Cabo. Oh yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to the weight and balance and the range too. I mean, you go pretty far in that plane too. And it's cool because it's a classic jet. I mean, it's iconic 80s. But I mostly fly, so I haven't streamed it too much because it's tough to stream because, like I said, it's a workhorse, or a work hog, I should say. But offline, I fly a lot of medevac stuff. I use Say Intention's SkyOps medevac scenarios. Loads of fun. Because that's generally what they're used for nowadays. I don't think there's too many VIP jet charter services running their 35s anymore. Baja, California. There's not much out here. But it's cool. Flight level 410, we can see almost the whole peninsula. But I would recommend this one. I really would. Yeah, it's not high fidelity, but it's also not default plane stuff. You know, things do work. I don't think I have, and I'm not sure if this is like the real plane. Is that a lot of these checklists are not necessarily checklists. They have memory items in them. Like for instance, engine start. So I'm not going to run this checklist. Now, I'm not going to say engine starter on, throttles idle, engine instruments check, cast check. They're all memory items when you're starting the plane. So, you know, like, all right, you know, starter on, gonna watch ignition, N2 rise, 10%, fuel introduced. You know, you're gonna watch for hot start. If it was a real plane, this one's not modeled like that, but you're gonna watch for hot start, hung start, and you're just gonna monitor the engine. You're not clicking through a checklist. So I don't know if these needed to be in here, maybe to help the beginner, but I don't think that would have been a real checklist in the plane. And some of the stuff, like, so after takeoff checklist, there's a lot going on here. Like altimeters to standard, is that a checklist item? Like everybody knows when you go above transition, you got to switch it to baro. I don't know. And then, like, look at the size of this landing checklist. So I'm supposed to do this run this checklist by myself. Well, on approach, maybe it's more intuitive if it was a real plane, and I could just have my hand here. But if I have to look down to click this knob, it's not very intuitive. So what I do is I leave it as I leave it up as a memory item. You know, landing gear down, flaps down. You know, on approach, you're going to check to see if pressurization is 0. I think that would be more of an approach item. I don't know. I'm not a CJ3 pilot, so I can't attest that this is wrong. It just doesn't feel right. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. They're pretty heavy checklists to go through at critical moments of flight. I don't know. I like paper checklists. I can't find a paper checklist. Big fan of the paper checklist, but I'm also an old guy, so. That's another thing too. I can't attest to whether or not the flight model is correct to the real plane, because I've never flown a real one. So all I can say is that it flies nice in the sim. It hand flies nice, trims out nice. I was actually just playing around with it, you know, VFR. I wasn't on any kind of ATC, just flying around. And I could hand fly the, you know, a level altitude. I could level out, you know, nicely. So just in the sim, the flight model feels nice. I don't know if that's just easy. You know, is it a basic flight model? Don't know. But for the price, and you know, if you want to be able to hand fly this plane, I mean, if I wanted to, I could hand fly this plane all the way up to the flight levels. It's that, you know, that easy, or that nice, or you know, there's no twitch to it. And I like that. And now, I mean, there are some planes in real life that have pitch twitchiness, and you know, if that's modeled in the flight model, people complain. But you know, hey, I can't fly this thing, blah blah blah. And here it's the real plane, so you know, you just have to practice. Real pilots encounter that stuff, and they have to learn its quirks. Every plane has its quirks. And this plane doesn't have any flight model quirks that I could tell. This plane in the sim, I have no idea what CJ3 this is. But I am, just to put it out, I am a big fan of business jets. I mean, I like the occasional airliner. You know, I fly the Airbus, do my own thing. I belong to Fly Virtual Delta or whatever it is. I think it's Fly Delta Virtual EDF or EDV or FVD by Delta Virtual. Anyway, so I fly the Airbus with them. But I really like, and it's always been that way in the simulator, is corporate type planes. That's why I absolutely can't wait for Flight Effects' Citation 10. And those screenshots look amazing. And I like old planes too, so you guys know the channel. I DC3s, DC6s. I like old planes. I'll fly a classic airliner any day. So we still got a little bit of flicker. That was fixed. It's not as bad as it was, but I think this is just frame gen artifact for me. I haven't tested it with frame gen off, which I probably should have. So I didn't do my due diligence there. But so I got this off of Flight Sim TO, and now a lot of our, from the original, like our first flight, that we were going around and looking at it, and I think I said that the default paint jobs weren't great, and that the livery modders would fix that, and they have. Those are pretty tight. One thing I would like to see is passengers. I do, for some reason, you know, I'm not a big cabin fan, but I do like seeing people back here. You know, because I'm supposed to be transporting 4 people. So I get it, I wouldn't have someone sit here, but it'd be nice to see some people back here. I do know that it is a resource hog. I guess they wanted to keep it real. They wanted to keep it real, you know, frame friendly. But an option to turn them on and off helps with frames. So if your computer is struggling, you can just turn the passengers off. But I just don't like being able, you know, looking back here and just seeing an empty cabin when I have, you know, 4 passengers planned and the weights in and everything like that. And one other thing, I'd love for the coffee to show up here. I'm not a stewardess or a flight attendant. Be politically correct. So if I'm the captain and I'm making a coffee, it's for me. We get the armrests down. Because why not? Get situated back in the seat. You get better performance with frame gen off? Yeah, for some reason I don't. I don't run DLSS because I run TAA. I find that sharper, but I do have frame gen turned on. For some reason, things just tank for me with frame gen shut off. Mostly because, you know, I think probably I'd be okay if I wasn't streaming it. If I'm live on YouTube, I need just the extra boost, and I don't get. I mean, it's smooth. I don't get any tearing or anything like that. I don't know how it looks on the YouTube, but. I really should, what am I calling it? I really should run some tests and bring it back. I've been running this configuration for so long, I don't even remember what the other configurations look like. And the sim has been more optimized, so I might have to revisit frame gen. But other than some artifacting here and there, and the cars get kind of blurry with frame gen on, it's not as bad as when DLSS was. When DLSS is on, that it just ghosts everything. Now I did do a test with DLSS 4 because Sim Update 2 is optimized for that, I think. It wasn't too bad, actually. You know, it didn't like completely ghost out the gauges with that, and I was getting a little more frames, but it was still soft. Like everything was not as sharp as AA. And I just want the world to be a little sharp. I already can't see great. Alright, so let's do some aviating. Alright, so we're at 30 minutes to top or descent. And ENEKO at flight level 200. We got a little while yet. Some say that DLSS quality is not that blurry. In version 4, it's not as blurry as it was. For me, anyway. But it just, like I said, it just seems soft. Not necessarily blurry, but like these lines weren't as sharp in the terrain. I don't know. Everybody's got their own things. Like I know a lot of streamers actually use DLSS. just to get that frame boost, because streaming drops you about 15 frames, depending on your system. For me, it's 15 frames. Just simply turning OBS on. It's because of, just using up resources. I'm using VRAM for OBS as well as everything else that I'm running. I'm going to start experimenting, see what works on it. Since I already have to go back and retweak everything because I screwed everything up. I'll go back and play around. So I don't get... I think a lot of people are experiencing stutters with frame gen. So I think it's like dropping the second frame or whatever. So you're getting a stutter. I don't get too many stutters with it. I don't know why. It just seems to work for me. I mean, I do get my occasional stutter. And even sometimes, especially with my cache, when my cache gets full, it could turn into a slideshow. But my rolling cache, I run 200 gigs on my rolling cache, and it takes a while to get there until I start having problems. Between streaming and flying and everything else, maybe it takes about 2.5 weeks until 200 gigs gets filled up. So the METAR at San Lucas is 290 or 2990, so we can just reset that. So I can forget it. Set it and forget it. Yeah, I think I picked a pretty good route down Baja. I had a test sector route that came down, so we came down the coast and then we'll cut it across. My test sector route came down straight down the center of the peninsula, and those mountains were rocking us the whole way, so I figured, oh, let me do a little experiment. If I come down the coast, maybe it'll be less turbulent. So kind of thinking like a charter pilot. So I filed my coastal route. No, I got no traffic. It seems like everybody doesn't do the CTAF thing. I've noticed on Vatsim that everybody just stays on calm all the time. And I feel like an idiot just talking to the void, and I can't, people are in the pattern and they're not, I don't hear them, they're not responding. I don't know. I don't know if they should have gone to that CTAF thing anyway. I mean, it's more realistic, but it's not too. Especially in really congested areas. So look, if I'm coming in on CTAF on into New York. Say I'm going into LaGuardia. I got crazy traffic going into Newark and JFK. If I'm on LaGuardia CTAF, I'm not hearing any of it. If I'm on Unicom, we're all on the same frequency and close enough together that we can manage our separation. And that's my take on the CTAF thing. So I think I'm going to do like everyone else does and not worry about CTAF or Cabo. I mean, of course, I'll double check traffic. I don't want to get called out by Vatsim. Yeah, I'm the only one coming into. Yeah, I'm the only one going to Cabo today. All right. Of course, the CJ3 wouldn't be a A-lister kind of plane for our Hollywood guest. Thinking more of a B-list guy. Can afford the private jet, but can't afford a CL-35. You know, we're not going to put Britney Spears on a CJ3. I think one of these is like 9 mil, somewhere around there. You can get a good used one for like 3. Of course, this would be a pretty good, so single pilot operations, this would be a pretty good, if you were a rich guy and wanted to own your own jet that you could putz around in because you were rich. This would be a rich man's personal jet. That or the Sears Vision Jet. I could see that being a real good personal kind of plane. That's more designed for the family car, I think. Were you able to transfer your favorite planes from FS24? So, I didn't have any real default planes that were my favorites. We have been able to fly the Black Square Dukes, and I was able to get the Black Square TBM 850 to work. But you had to bring over the sound pack from 2020 to get that to work, or it didn't have any sounds. Default planes. I didn't really fly any default planes. 2020. They're all in the marketplace. I could put them in. Most of the default planes from 2020 have gone over to 2024. Anyway, like they're already in, because I have the Aviators pack, so I have all the planes from 2020. Even the ones that I didn't purchase in 2020, they were there. But not all of the planes that I love. So EC6 couldn't bring it over. It didn't work right. The PMDG 737, although I saw people flying that in 2024, the 2020 version, I tried. I couldn't get to work. because I was going to even... I miss flying the 737 so much that thing. So thanks. I'm having problems. Oh, the black square analog King Air. So I just saw somebody on YouTube that. So you need to. What did he do? Ah, budget flight sim guy on YouTube did that. He brought over all the black square analog stuff, and he said the King Air works. So what he did was he pulled the King Air from the 2020 main folder. Yeah, the default King Air. He pulled that folder that's there in the official folder and put it in the community folder of 2024, and then downloaded the and then put the black square mod in there, and it seemed to work for him, or that's how he was getting them to work. I unfortunately, before I knew you could try that, I've completely deleted 2020, so I can't do that to see if it works. But yeah, he did. He grabbed the default plane, the folder from the default plane, and brought it over, and then put the black square mod in the community. So they're both in the community folder, and it works for him. He said he can't get the repaints to work, but the default liveries work. But like he claimed, and what I would claim is I'm not a livery guy, so I wouldn't be able to. There's probably someone out there that can get them to work. Probably a pathing issue. But yeah, I saw his YouTube video on getting them to work, and I was like, oh man. And I went to look for my 2020 folder, and I'm like, oh, I deleted that. So I'd have to do the whole 6-hour reload of 2020 to try that. So I'm like, I'll wait for Black Square to drop their standalones, which will be probably when I retire in 5 years. So you may have solved that one. How about the PMDG DC6? So I couldn't get it to work right for me. I mean, it loaded, things went in, but the gauges were all wonky. So it's coming real soon, native from PMDG. So I am just waiting with bated anticipation for that. Probably the end of May, they said. Probably, knowing PMDG, is probably going to be the middle of June. But I'm going to be patiently waiting for that. But as far as the 2020 version, it didn't work right for me. And I don't know why. It worked for some, but just for me it wouldn't. Hey man, no problem. No problem. I'm glad I'm able to help. You definitely have to let me know if that King Air works, because then I'll be very disappointed that I deleted 2020. If anything, I'll just to make me sad that I deleted 2020, and I just don't feel like doing a 6-hour load. You know what? If it works, I might do that 6-hour reload 2020 just to get that plane. It'll be worth it for me. I'll do it. I'll start to download like overnight when I'm asleep. So. All right, so we're under 20-minute mark. So let's let us review. No charts available. I did load the charts. Now I know. Oh, there we go. That's odd. Hold on 1 second, guys. Alright, so... Okay, I'm back. I just turned on the music. Hit the wrong button. Okay, so, charts. So we're doing the... Zoom that in. We're doing the ENEKO 1 Charlie. Oh, cool. All right. That's a lot better. That's really cool. I didn't know you can do that. All right. So we're going to come in. We want to be at ENEKO at above flight level 200. We're going to come in at 200. Hopefully. We're going to do a VNAV descent. So we'll just look at our restrictions. At or above at Dawson. At or above at SL404. SL400. We got an at or above 11,000. So it doesn't look like we have any ats. So VNAV's probably going to try to take us to the bottom of that. But if we're a little high, we can just monitor that. That looks good. So TESAC is our initial transition for the approach. 29. So we're going to want to be at, what does that say, 8,000? Not 5,000. So we're going to want to be at 5,000 at TESAC. Because then the initial approach for 29 is, look at that, the approach RP29. Zoom that puppy in. So TESAC 5,000, we're going to descend 1,000. We've got 3 miles to do that. That's plenty of time. The initial fix is 4,000, and then we'll so our initial approach is 2,400. So we'll descend down to 2,400 by 7:01, and then do a coupled approach into Cabo. So in my test sectors of everything, the approach is offset, and I'm not sure if it says it, if it's like that in reality. Yeah, see, there's no markings that say it's an offset RNAV, so it's probably a glitch with the simulator that it's just not lined up right. But that's fine. When we get past the mountain, we'll DC the autopilot and hand fly the short final approach back into Cabo. And this plane likes to fly hand fly, so we shouldn't have any problems there. And unfortunately, I don't have any scenery. There is scenery for Cabo. It's just 2020 native and does not work in 24. I tried. Alright, so that's our quick little brief. Alright, so I'll put 20. There's a little VNAV down on its own, like a Boeing. Path enunciated, so that's path is armed. We have our altimeters set for when we transition. Oh, that was one thing. You have to check what the transition altitude is, right? $18.5? Okay. We'll transition at 18.5. But yeah, if we can get the if I could get the black scare analogs to work, I think so Coxper Phenom is not that 100. It's not that bad, really. That was one that I didn't look at. I know there was a lot of complaints when it first came out. Yeah, thanks for that, because I'll. That's another jet that I'm interested in flying, and I'll have to take a look at that. Is it kind of? It's kind of like this. It's not very systems depth, right? Now, kind of like that level above default plane. See, that's the thing. So it's not study level. Yeah. And they lowered the price a lot. Oh yeah. Well, if it's a lower price, I will definitely take a look. Because I don't mind not having study level. Not every plane has to be study level. Certain planes have to be study level. A classic Boeing 737 has to be study level. I wish we had a study level DC3. These are the things that need to be study level. Planes like this, eh. Alright, so they got us at the top of descent. Well, I mean, we don't have to be at EC now. I don't know. I think our top of descent altitude's kind of messed up. How far away are we from EC now? Yeah, we're still 50 miles away. So I'm going to let VNAV do its thing and then we'll see what happens. Because I'm curious on what this calculation was. One other thing we could do is we need to calculate our landing data. So we're running 29. We'll load the weather. 112 at 7. See, that's not what I'm getting. Runway information is all correct. Landing configuration, we'll do a flaps 35 landing. Landing data. So there's our VAP and VREF. So if you guys saw my other streams with this plane, I was doing this all wrong. I was just going to the... What I was doing was I was just going to the Speedbug page, clicking on landing, and it was just I was just taking the default speeds, and it was just not correct. So they're in, because I'm like, why? So this has a stall speed at flaps 35 at like 80 knots. Or it's 86, I think. Why am I doing 130 into the airport? So I did some digging. Another thing is they fixed the flap speeds. So they had this at like gear and stuff was like at 150. This was like at 130. So these are actually all correct to the specifications of the CJ3. And flaps 55, which is ground flaps, it's an emergency just remembered I have to turn my phone on. That was important actually when I got interrupted. A little family thing going on, but not yet, but I just need notification in case. Anyway, so if the flaps were to fail and the motor would drive the flaps to ground flaps in flight, you have to maintain 140 knots to keep the energy up, because it's almost like throwing the speed brakes out and leaving them out for the whole flight. So this would actually, if it went to ground flaps in flight, this would actually be an emergency. Don't want to land with ground flaps out. It's 55 degrees, so that means it's, if you look at the wing profile, 55 degrees, it's like almost pointing like this way a little bit. So all that air is just being disrupted. Lift is being disrupted. It's meant to slow us down on the ground because we don't have reversers. Although there's no failures modeled, we don't have to worry about it. Yeah, we'll see how we do. So, yeah, I'm not liking it. We're going to start down. So V speed, we'll go down. Start off at 1,800 feet. Power back. Yeah, so the banana, so let's see where we have to go get the banana at ENEKO. Wow, 4,000 feet per minute, no way. We're not doing it like that. Alright, so it's at or above, so we can be above. But we are going to start down. We could do 4,000 feet per minute, but we're trying to simulate that we have passengers on board, and that's not going to be very comfortable. Because, you know, we'd be pushing closer to 5 degrees down bubble. Down bubble? What? Were you sub? No. I mean, 5 degrees down pitch. Now you got me thinking about that Phenom. I gotta definitely check that out. 'Cause I heard good things about the Mustang too. That's by Cockspur as well, right? All right, so we're descended finally. So let's get a checklist going here. Got the descent checklist. Anti-ice is not needed. Throttles are as required. Altimeters will set at transition, and then V speeds are in. Descent checklist complete. Normal procedure. So let's just review that. Looks like we need minimums put in. So we got what do we have? Let's see here, runway 29. $13.20 on the minimums. Alright, minimums are in. Alright, so we got... Yep, I think Mustang is smaller, so I prefer the Phenom. Yeah, the Mustang's kind of like a little personal jet. It's like the Cessna version of Cirrus's Vision Jet. I think it's only 6-seater. Of course, I think the 100's a 6-seater too, isn't it? But it's slower too than the Phenom. It's like what do they call them? VLJs, very light jets. The Mustang's a VLJ. So it's in the same class as the Cirrus Vision Jet. So, okay, we got our minimums in. So let's look at this. Minimums are set. Passenger safety signs, we'll put them on. You guys can have a seat. Put the champagne away. Fuel transfer is off. We didn't need it today. And anti-ice switches are as required, and we don't need it. Alright, so landing lights to go, so we'll just hold off. Yeah, so it's pushing our top of descent forward, so we're high. I don't want to be high. Alright, let's go 3,800 feet. Put our speed brakes out. Bring us down to 16. That should be 16 at Dason. Actually, we may not. Let's try to adjust via the banana. So we gotta be. We'll put it at 16. We gotta be 16 at Dason. Get back on path. We won't need to go so crazy. That's a lot better. Alright, so that setting will put us back on path. We'll meet up with our VNAV path. So the airport's over here. And this path kind of takes us down and around the bottom of the peninsula. We're still pretty far out. About 15 minutes until we're on the ground, guys. 15 minutes. I think Cabo is just like a desert beach resort. Never been to Cabo. I know a couple guys that actually vacation there, but I know it's only 2 hours away for the Hollywood guys that can afford these jets. I'm sure it's a vacation spot for them. You can do a weekend in Cabo if you're leaving from Hollywood easily, especially if you had your own jet. Alright, so we're passing flight level 185. Alright, there we go. So passing flight level 181. Now, 1, 2, 3, cross check. Good. So path is still armed. So what's going to happen is once we've arrived in our vertical path at Dason, so we're going to level off. We're going to hit there before. So we're going to level off, and when we hit our path, we'll be able to descend on path, which will put us right in line for our approach. But everything's looking good. Like a good, that's an okay descent speed. We can actually go a little faster. So I'm going to show you one of the things I'm looking at to adjust my power. And this is in a lot of these type of jets, including the CJ3, the default one. I'm looking at the trend. So I know my power's set when I don't see any pink, and I can actually go a little faster. I'll bring it up to cruise power. A low-end cruise power. You can see, so now I've added more speed or more power, and you can see the trend right here, indicating that I'm starting to climb up. And what that lets me know is that if that stays pink, I'm going to eventually maybe go too fast. It's just reminding me that I'm slow, and it the faster that this transitions, the more of a line you'll see. So this is just real slow. And if the power setting matches the speed, it'll settle in and that pink will disappear. And if I don't see pink, I know I'm holding. All right, we can zoom in, get ready for our approach. What's pretty cool with this jet is that it, and much like the real one, is that it'll fly at 400 knots, but land like it's a TBM. You know, between 180 knots is our landing speed, which then leaves us, even though it doesn't have reverse, which would allow it to stop on a dime, we can come in at these smaller airports because we only need 2,700 feet to land. I wouldn't land at 2,700 feet because you need like 3,000 feet to take off to clear a 50-foot obstacle. So, but we can get into these 3,000-foot airports, these little local airports, easily with this jet. All right, V-alt, so it should start going down. Probably would help that if I so I missed it because I didn't have the altitude set. That's okay. So this also has a trend too. You see, it'll also tell us we're going down by X amount. And you see my speed trend rose pretty quickly. So SL404 at 13. It's a little too shallow. There we go. OSL 404 at 13, so we'll be able to catch it again. We'll use the banana to adjust our descent. We don't need to be screaming to it. Heads down, looking at the scenery a little bit. Get some time. Not much to see. Very desert-like. Actually, when I capture 13, I'm actually going to go down to 5. That should be the bottom of our descent. VNAV should take care of the rest. We should hit our crossings then. And I'll power up so I can fix our speed, because we can do 270, 230, somewhere around there. Need to drop to 200 to start putting flaps out, but we can easily manage that. It is slippery. So see, now we got our path bar coming down because we have it all set up right. San Lucas Traffic Citation 287 November, descending the ENEKO 1 Charlie into San Lucas. I was supposed to say what altitude I was at. It's alright. There's no traffic. What I do want to do to get play up. Hopefully with all this running, it's good. See, now we're on V path with alt capture armed. And now we're set to 5,000, so I'll drop in. And yeah. So there's a little bit, I think. So like you see, we start going a little too fast. I mean, we're still not busting any speeds, because I mean, I could do 300 knots here if I wanted to, but I got to really power back because I want to get, we're going to go below 10,000 soon. Definitely want to get the plane below 250. Alright, there's 10,000, so landing lights could come on. That clears our checklist. And then there's the fancy, huge landing checklist that I got to do while I'm hand flying it, right? And I'm just going to do a barrel rep key. Yeah, alright, so it's close. And VNAV's put us right, so the banana's right there. So we're at TESIC at 5,000. So VNAV is working, so I'm going to bring our altitude down to our final approach fix. Once we pass TESIC, I'm going to arm the approach. Actually, I can arm it now because TESIC's the transition. Activate approach. Boom. Slightly above path. So you notice one thing is it will not arm from underneath. We have to get underneath the path and then meet it from the bottom there. See? Just like that. It won't arm, or it won't capture if you're above. You have to go slightly below and then meet up into it from underneath. I don't know if that's reality, but it's the sim. Alright, so we're turning onto the approach. So slow her down to 200. And I will arm the approach. We're still on VNAV path, and that looks good. It actually puts us on our glide slope path, so that should arm, that should capture when we get down to our proper altitude. So, can't think. Initial approach fix. And once glide slope is captured, we're going to then put we'll put the missed approach altitude in the window. All right, flaps 15. So you can see we're kind of offset here. Alright, turn VNAV off. We're above the glide path. So,
autopilot.
Go hand fly. Gear down. 160, flaps 35. So I just think the approaches are messed up for this airport. It's default airport, so. All right, landing gear down, flaps down. Pressurization check is going to 0. Autopilot is off, and our VREF is in. Oh man, I did it again. Alright, we're going to land long because I forgot to turn on replay and just did that. Wasn't paying attention.
50.
Not a bad recovery. Alright, ground flaps. Push the stick forward. And there's 60 knots, so apply some brake. Welcome to Cabo. Cabo traffic. Citation 287 November. Backtrack runway 29. Never forgot my calls. There's no traffic. I don't even know why. I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna actually kill the network because there's no traffic. I wouldn't if you guys were flying with me, because then we'd watch you guys land. That would be cool. We really need to fly together, guys. That'd be a lot of fun. Alright, so we're just going to backtrack. So we're backtracking on the runway. So we leave our lights on. And we can actually go a little faster because we don't want to be hanging out here. I'm not running G's because G's has been finicky for me. But that seemed very soft. So I'm going to guess it's within the thing. Yeah, well, I'm not on multiplayer in the sim, but we can all fly together on Vatsim. Multiplayer never worked for me. It's just it uses too much resources, and it just turns into a stutter fest for me. The in-sim multiplayer. Well, we can all go on network together. Yeah, that would be fun. And seems like a good place to park. And there I go, doing my stupid things. All right, that comes off, that comes off. Going to stop recording. All right, so that's off, that's off. Flaps up. Heater static switches are off. Anti-collision light is off. Landing light is off. Taxi light on. That's on. It's parking. Parking brake is set. Anti-ice is off. Air conditioner is off. Source 2 thing. Passenger signs can come off. Emergency lights off. Display off. Generators 1 and 2 off. Ammo lights off. Throttles off. And battery switch. Welcome to Cabo. My view got all screwed up. There we go. Ah! So everybody got seasick. Alright. Well, I'll follow our passengers, and we are here in beautiful... I guarantee you this airport does not look like this. Awesome. So that was our flight. So let's look at the replay. Yeah, good flight. See you later. Hey, thanks for hanging along. Great having you. All right, so we're going to check out that replay. We're going to see how smooth that landing actually was. So just get some things on the replay. And we'll start the engines. All right, here we go. So I started the replay on short final. Let's stop, wind that back. And we slinked it right in there. Oh yeah, that's butter. I don't know what it is, but that had to be under 100. You see, you put the ground flaps on, it spoils it out. These things are almost up and down. Could not fly with them on. Plus, if ground flaps dropped, these would deploy, although you could retract them manually. Alright, I'm going to try G's. I'm going to try it. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Oh, it's saying 0, so it's not working. Alright guys, let's wind that all the way back. That's going to be it for the stream. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the likes. If you haven't already, hit that like button for me. Help out the channel. And subscribe. We're going to be flying tomorrow, PC-12. About the same time. Looking at 11:30, I think I have it scheduled. Check it out. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Got lots of stuff coming. We do lots of stuff here. And yes, I want to fly with you guys. So you guys can, come join me. So that's going to be it. So stay safe, stay healthy, keep on flying. This is Virtual Flight Diaries. My name is John. See ya. .46 feet per minute. Officially a butter landing.